you just told me that it's for anxiety. And,
Right.
and waking up black in America, I could wake up with anxiety.
So why
I gotta
do
get a
you-
job. I don't know if I'm gonna eat. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna get called 70 niggers between here and the corner store. You know what I mean? This is anxiety that hits my mind before I can even open my eyes.
Now,
yes,
watch
I need
this,
to
though.
smoke.
Yeah, but watch this. What are you smoking? So are you smoking an indica? You smoking a sativa? And furthermore,
I need to be educated.
why do you need to smoke it?
How can I tell? How do I know if I'm coming to your shop? How do I know which ones is faster acting and which one is slower acting?
I'm gonna show you.
Right now?
I'm gonna teach you.
What's happening? Gator?
What's happening, everybody? This your boy Mamba.
And it's the Gator Mamba show.
Welcome to
I
another,
always say welcome.
because you are welcome.
I think you kind of
As far as
sound
this-
corny.
Well, what the fuck would you like me to say?
Something a little bit more black.
First of all, I said what's happening, and then I ended it with what? Did I not say what's happening as well, y'all?
Dumbass. You gotta learn how to listen. Besides, you got 2 ears, but you busy talking.
Apologize, I didn't interrupt you.
Hell, he sure did.
So that's all I'm saying. Welcome to another amazing episode of these two individuals going back and forth talking about life, liberty, and the best things that involve black folk for the most part. So as we always start, we'll just get right into the gritty to feel the surface. Start off with you. How was your weekend? How was your holiday?
Only thing I was about to say, the weekend was the holiday, and it's important to tell you that I got 8 kids. So, in a person in my
Damn.
position, how do you think your holiday will be? Wait, mind you, let's just take it slow. I got 3 birthdays in December and Christmas, and then one is one day after Christmas, right? Which is a teenager, and then she ain't gonna give me no break. Like, hey, you gave me some Christmas presents. I give you a break on my birthday present. So, December is really expensive. I like to move on. How was your week?
That's how I was back in the days with Mother's Day. I had 2 mothers, my mother-in-law, and then I had my ex-wife's birthday, all 3 of which I had to get presents and shit for, and one couldn't outweigh the other. Because if I gave her this, then I got to be like, what's the balance with that and shit like that. Boy, it was the most stressful time of the year for me. Second was Christmas, but I killed that shit. So, but the holiday was cool, but
You didn't even celebrate in the USA.
no,
I
I
don't.
don't. I did celebrate.
I thought you was going to Mexico or something.
No, I was in Phoenix, actually. I was in Phoenix, and I had a good time. I went with my homeboys' family and everything, and that was a good time. We ate well. The unfortunate part is, at that time, let's just say we caught COVID.
Is you sick right now?
I'm
Hey, then cut
getting
this
over
goddamn show. What is happening? Bend down, man.
I'm getting over it. I'm getting over that shit. But it was a beautiful time as far as the weather and shit like that. But then once that the aftermath of all that hit, it sucked ass. So that's why you hear congestion and shit right now. But I'm here and we're still popping.
Got it.
And
You ain't never got that vaccine, huh?
No.
Wait, you scared to say it on the coast? You ought to take me out, so I know. That's why I'm going to everybody know that I ain't got no vaccine now. I ain't got no vaccine. I ain't got sick. I don't get sick. I ain't never been sick. So I just want people to understand that you ain't got to take their medicine to get well.
Yeah. And that's actually a pretty good dynamic given on what we're about to talk about anyway. So in one essence, we're going to be talking about something that's been plaguing the news reads for about a couple of weeks now. And basically, a United Health CEO was assassinated, straight Merck style. And everybody's seen it through social media and everything, so they know how to do it. By this guy, and I know the killer's name. I forgot the CEO's name, but by this dude named Luigi.
Wait a minute. You don't know the person he killed name, but you know the killer name.
Yeah.
and Brian Thompson. Okay.
There you go, Brian Thompson. Now I know.
Right. And we know who you listen.
Right. But it's funny even looking at media sources and people's responses to this, because he's getting a lot of hero status aspect.
The shooter.
The shooter. Well, of course they do that to white murderers anyway, but I'm just saying in this regard.
What's his name? Do we got 3 names? You know they say if they white they got 3 names. John Wayne Gacy. Do we got 3 names?
No, it's just 2. It's just 2. Not his first and last name. No, he's like Italian something.
He ain't white. That is, I'm not white.
Yeah, and I mean, he damn near mafia styled that shit. Like he
Italian.
or Greek, I don't know, but he showed
more mafia style than
he showed plotting, playing that shit.
Okay.
But you look at the news media and stuff like that. They're like, a lot of people ain't all like, oh, that's disgusting, all upset and shit like that. Which, on one end, someone lost their life, which that's a tragic thing, and much respect and love to their families and stuff like that. Nothing like that. But the fact is, people's like, I don't wish death on anyone, but it's kind of like that Chris Rock said. Remember what Chris Rock said? He was like, I forgot which part it was, but he was like, now I'm not saying that I agree with it, right? But I understand. And that's pretty much what that was. It's like people don't agree with the aspect, but they understand. Now ask me why.
Why?
Why?
Well, wait. Well, let me slow down. Because I need to know what people agree with and what they don't.
So people agree ish. Right.
I don't know what the fuck ish is. Like, who's agree?
There's got to be some type of tangible evidence that says some people agree, some people don't.
They don't like the fact that someone was murdered.
They understand why he was murdered. Given the fact of the industry and how the industry is, the industry as far as the insurance, health insurance.
Hey, you should explain the industry to me so I can maybe get exactly where they're coming from.
Well, I ain't no health insurance industry expert, but we all are familiar to a certain degree in regards to the health industry in the United States. It's shitty as hell. It's extremely shitty. And let's just give a point with this dude. And given that you know how it is in the United States, you know that sometimes you send paperwork in, they send it back. Sometimes they give you the runaround. Sometimes they overcharge you. Then when you try to get your money back, it's non-existent. You can't talk to nobody. Sometimes they put some last-minute billing on. Sometimes they volunteer information like, hey, why don't you get your blood drawn?
So here's what happened to do.
So what happened to dude was his mother was sick. It's pretty much like y'all seen the Denzel Washington movie John Q. Yeah. So it's pretty much that instance. His mom was sick, and basically they kept giving them the runaround, as far as well, let's say she's not in this. What did they say? In this area, HMO, whatever the shit that they say. That doctor is not covered. This isn't covered by that. That ain't covered by this. And they kept giving them the runaround and having him wait while his mother's life was decreasing as they kept procrastinating. And finally, she died. So he fucking snapped.
Okay, so basically, what you're saying to me is, this young man paid his health insurance because if he got insurance, he had to pay for it. Period. You don't get insurance for free,
right?
Unless it's Obamacare, you know what I mean, or something like that,
right?
But he paid for it, right? And he's been paying for it for however long.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it was time to actually use it, they was trying to give him a runaround until his mama died.
Yep. Yeah.
So basically, they was robbing him, and they expected him to sit on his hands.
They was robbing him from the moment he start paying his premium until the moment he still was paying his premium, saying, we'll get to you.
He still was paying as he was trying to say, hey, that's my mom, right? Yeah, he gonna pay more, right? Because he was mom. Yeah,
he stopped all of a sudden. Y'all ain't doing it, so I'm gonna stop. Because that then messes up the whole issue with his mom still.
Yeah.
Like he's still in limbo. No, my mom needs help now. What the fuck I gotta do?
So they're saying, so insurance works like this. You give somebody some money in case something happens.
Yes, in case.
But that something doesn't happen. And when that something do happen, and it's time to pay out because the payout has to be much more than the actual premium that they paid. So when it's time to pay out, they make some excuses and or reasons to not pay because they want to keep the money because they CEO is making all the 8 figures and is siphoning all the money up, so they don't really got the money to pay nobody because the money going into a person's pocket.
That's the gist of it. That's the gist of it. And fucking insurance CEOs make double digits millions. You know what I'm saying? Plus they get annual bonuses and all that kind of shit or whatever.
Walking with an Armani suit in the streets of New York with no worries in the world. Shit, he had a worry. Luigi was on the back of his mind.
Luigi
came out the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked up part. The fucked up part is America has a shitty ass health care system in the regards of taking care of its citizens on any and all levels. I can even say from my own experience, I got a medication, an asthma medication. Now, I don't need it, and thank God I don't need it because my asthma ain't nowhere near as bad as what it was. But when I do have it, let's say I'm supposed to take it daily, and it's expensive as shit. Technically, it's like $900. But what the fuck? Oh, is that old boy? But what I was saying, so I'm supposed to take it daily. I don't even got to take it daily, but it's something that helps to possibly keep me alive, right? Same with diabetes medication and all that. The fucking cost for insulin and shit is fucking out the chain. I think it's like $1,200-$1,300, and most people who use insulin are poor, black or brown, and they probably on SSI and shit like that. Like they can't afford to work or whatever. So they jack up these motherfucking prices like crazy because I honestly, it's just bottom line. It's just population control and greed.
I remember a doctor telling me your blood pressure is high, and I had told the doctor, I say, hey, but I don't take medicine, so is there a natural way for me to get my blood pressure back down? He was like, "No, man, it ain't absolutely no way you can do it, but take these pills." I say, "Hey, man, I ain't taking no pills, so I guess I'm gonna pop off with the blood pressure because I don't take medicine, I just don't." And so, I cut out salt, cut out some things out of my diet. Goddamn, that blood pressure went all the way down, and I was like, "Wait, they told me that I couldn't do it without medication."
That's because they are in med school. For a fact, they are not taught nutrition. They're not taught about they have a general understanding, but they don't have courses that are specific about nutrition, about what plants and eating right and all that. They don't have courses like that. It's straight chemistry. It's straight what's your weight, what's your size, what's your age. Let me put some medicine in you.
That's another thing. When I went to the doctor, same time, that sucker told me I was obese. And he did. He told me I was obese, right? And I'm like, I'm full of muscle, man. I lift up my shirt as all mammal. And yet, still.
Hashtag red man.
But seriously, they told me I was obese, right? And I'm like, how? Like fuck the going to school and learning the shit, right? How can I logically, as a smart human being, use a skill and or system that doesn't fit all people? Yeah, you put me on a scale and say I'm obese based off a white male, not off a black man, but black men live in this country too. So how is your whole system based off one race, and then you try to make people think that you're the best system? Let me tell you something. It's he's talk. Go ahead, because I got something for you. Did you know that disease is preventative?
Absolutely.
So going to the doctor, they want you to go to the doctor so they can keep getting money out of you. But what they should teach you is about health, about eating right, about exercise, about meditation, about sunlight, about all these things that can help you naturally before you even get to the doctor. You talking about you got diabetes, then stop drinking Coca-Cola.
Right, right. United States is not in the business of keeping healthy people. They are not in the business of keeping healthy. We've traveled and seeing folks from other countries, seeing their body size and all that shit compared to Americans, if you will. Americans, man, I mentioned this before. You go to the Cub Foods on Broadway in North Minneapolis, and as soon as you walk in, you see snacky cakes and sugar and all this other fuck shit. Yeah. You go out in like Maple Grove to the same brand of Cub Foods, and you right when you walk in, you don't see that shit. You see vegetables and all this other shit. Now, granted, it's still Cub Foods, it's still America, but they know who they want to feed the bullshit to on a consistent basis.
Well, this country, when you go to any other country, right, you can't find those snacks and doodles. You know what I mean? Nowhere where's the snacks? Where's the snacks? I got the munchies. They gone, right? Because they don't feed their people that shit. They fruits and vegetables. And that's why you be seeing them old Spanish women, they be 50 years old looking like they 20 years old. You find this, yeah, man, you like, yeah, they eat right? They eat right because they whole system is to make sure that they eat correctly and that they don't have those health problems later in life. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. I looked it up, man. You got, because I just want to, give a slight to them because they be just trying to rob us. Some of these European countries have free health care. The UK, Germany, France, Spain, and Italy. You got the Nordic countries, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Canada. You got Australia and New Zealand. You got Japan and South Korea. You got Cuba. You got Brazil. All these countries offer free health care for all their citizens. You know why? They paying that tax money, right? And their tax money is going to other places where it's in people's pockets.
Yeah. Speaking of free in regards to health, did you know that Russia has in the process of developing a cancer vaccine? And with that cancer vaccine, all of their citizens will be able to get that cancer vaccine for free.
Is that right?
Can you get any motherfucking thing for any kind of ailment in the fucking United States for free?
We can't even get our Narcan for free.
right. To save somebody goddamn life.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So, to turnabout's fair play. When you think about all this shit that kind of happened, CO getting murked and shit like that, it's like, it's fucked up, but I understand. I see. I mean, there's a lot of motherfuckers. I can't imagine, my son, my wife, whatever the case, being on death's bed and somebody, because of some kind of paperwork, right? I understand John Q. I understand all that kind of stuff. Snap moment, a man is going to do anything in his power to make, you're not moving? And my people's life is on jeopardy? I'm going to make you move some way, shape, form, or fashion. You're going to have to move.
But sometimes, man, I mean, I know we as humans want to put a face to the monster, man. But sometimes it's simply overworked and underpaid people, right? People who do things, not out of spite, but because they have long days, they cutting corners as much as they can. And some of them corners they cutting affect a whole village down the line. You know how they say the butterfly effect, the wings of a butterfly can change some shit. That's what it is, right? Somebody in the office, way high somewhere, forget to do something, don't do something, take a break, take a holiday, scratch their ass, and now somebody died. You know what I mean? And it happened to me too. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be on here talking about it, but it happened to me too. You know what I mean? So I don't got no full love for this healthcare system because I feel like they create things to make money off of, and I can't get behind you when all you want to do is make money off your citizens. Like when was the last time these motherfuckers built something? Like seriously, look at China.
In the United States.
Yeah, in the United States. Look at China. China is motherfucking futuristic, and these motherfuckers got the same old. Look at Detroit.
Japan is crazy ass futurist.
That's what I mean. Japan is that's what I said.
Fucking futurist.
And then compared to Detroit,
Right?
Nigga, Japan, Detroit.
Night and day.
What you doing with the fucking money, man?
Yeah.
I know we ain't talking about this. I know we got somebody.
No,
to talk
we
to.
are not.
But y'all down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Y'all know how the fuck we get when it comes to the rights of the little man, if you will. The rights of the little man is a passionate process with us, and I gives no fuck of who's offended by it because we're gonna speak our truth. So it is what it is. So We do got a guest today, and I want to bring it to the stage. Mark Revering. Mark Revering, can you come to the stage?
Give him a clap. Give him a clap.
What's up, fellas? What's going down? That's some
Mark,
good stuff
Mark,
right there.
what's happening?
What's going down?
Chilling.
Across the table. You kind of height challenge.
Oh,
so-
height. That's the height.
Height challenge.
That's all right.
Shots fired already. This is my man
I'm
right
fun
here.
size,
goddamn.
nigga. I'm fun size.
Fun size. Fun size.
Oh, he got a
you niggas go with
pause.
the
He got a pause. He got a pause.
Mark, so you up in this joint for a few things. You do have a business, and we'll get to that in a second. But I want you to kind of give us your a little bit of your resume, a little bit. Let people know who the hell you are.
Man, who am I? Who am I? First and foremost, Mark Revering. Born and raised Minneapolis, South Side, North Side, a little bit of St. Paul, a little bit of out in the country. So I've been exposed to a lot of different cultures and backgrounds, and then just growing up biracial, dealing with all the different challenges and seeing all the different challenges from both sides of the fence. Currently, I work for a nonprofit. I'm the director of finance and ops there. I'm also a pastor. We just had our 1-year anniversary celebration last week, Christmas
Congratulations, brother.
Congratulations.
so we officially founded a church, just made it through our first year of ministry. And I also do a lot of mentoring and, life skill coaching in the community, and I've been doing that for 33 years.
You mentor currently?
Yep.
You mentor young men and women, correct?
Young men, but we also through that organization, we do have an arm that mentors young women as well.
Okay. What's the name of those?
That's Doorstep Foundation, and we got Den Brothers and Den Sisters.
Excellent.
Yep. We tend to my specific space that I operate in with Den Brothers is in the JDC. So yeah.
The toughest.
Yeah. I get to I'm trying to
Get to shape them all the world.
them, and I'm trying to keep them from staying in the system. They're already part of it, and now what can I do to get them out of the system and to keep them from staying in that perpetual cycle?
Yeah.
You know, Mark, I grew up in JDC. You could take me over there, man. Give a few words to the fellas. It'd be my pleasure.
I got you. I can bring in guests I just need a couple weeks in advance.
If you need me, I'm there.
Yep.
Say it like that.
Got you. We need I'm going to tell you what. As far as young men go, we need more men to step up.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at in society. We got a lot of things going on. I was listening to the conversation. Our society today is in need of a shift. Well, there actually is a shift happening. And everybody can feel it, sense it. Some people don't know how to put a word on it. But it's like when you walk outside in the morning, it's really thick.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the fog right now, right? You got some days where it's like that. When you walk outside, not the literal physical fog that you see with your eyes, but you can sense something in the air that is thick. And that's what's happening right now. That's why all these conversations are happening. That's why these events are going on, because there's a fundamental shift happening. And I won't get in super deep with that. That's on the pastoral side of me.
I dig that.
Because there's a spiritual aspect to that. And we have to understand in what we deal with in society, a lot of times we get so caught up in the physical, the sight aspect, what we see going on. And what that tends to do is cloud our judgment, let our emotions take over, and so forth and so on. But we got to understand that this isn't not necessarily a physical battle that's happening. It is a spiritual battle that's happening. You have a force over here that's causing all of those wrongs and those ills. We're supposed to be taking care of each other. If we have these programs and stuff, these programs are designed to help us. But they're not. sometimes these programs and these systems are actually designed to hurt us, to profit gain, to keep us separated, keep us from coming together as a people.
Keep us as slaves and working, just working.
Right. Think about what Kanye said a couple years ago, and everybody was all up in arms when he said slavery is a choice. And everybody was like, oh, and they went to the whole narrative of the transatlantic slave trade. And that's not what he was referring to. He was referring to all the different contracts and stuff.
Yeah. Kanye's super intelligent. They don't give him
and they twisted it.
Yeah.
And they give you a 30-second clip of these words, but you don't hear the rest of the context. It's like, as a pastor, it's one of those things that I deal with a lot. People will throw scripture at me. Well, you can't use that scripture if you're not using the whole context of that chapter.
Because you're just doing sound bites then.
Right. You got to put it all together. It's just like a puzzle.
Yeah.
I can give you a piece, but you got to see the whole picture.
Right.
So, Mark, you got a business, another business,
Yep.
a lot of businesses, but specifically one that's health related. Can you? What is that?
It is called the Good Zen.
The Good Zen. What does the Good Zen do?
The Good Zen. We are we're a cannabis dispensary.
Okay.
And what we do is, the way it's set up currently with the state legislative stuff and all the laws that are in place, we sell recreational edibles. And so they're microdosed edibles. You can only go so high as far as your milligrams per dose. So we stay within those guidelines. But then what it is it's educating people when they come in. Most of our people that come in for sleep. I would say 60% of our customers are needing sleep aid. And the over-the-counter stuff, the prescribed medication makes them feel this way or that way, lethargic and so forth.
Or hooked, and they got to go to the streets to get some.
They want that more natural, supplement. And cannabis has what's called CBN in it. CBN helps with sleep. Well, as we're learning today, over the last 6 years or so, our bodies have a natural endocannabinoid system in it already. And what they're learning is how the plant works with that naturally, because the plant is made up of endocannabinoids, CBN, CBD, THC, THCVA, CBG, CBC. There's a whole slew of cannabinoids that the plant produces. It's the reason why the Rastafarians call it the flower of life.
Right.
Because of what it does. Yeah. And each part works with your body naturally in those areas.
As far as pain, right? Pain is one of them.
Anxiety, sleep, inflammation.
I'm a patient. I got RTSD.
Okay. Tell me more.
Racial traumatic stress syndrome.
Okay, so you would need. So what you need is that brand that we got that's the social. It's designed for social. So you don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna come check
so
it out.
You don't have to deal with that racial trauma.
Social, I'll be getting all crazy.
It softens your heart a little bit.
Yeah,
so you
I
can
need to be soft.
my
old mug people be. I need to get soft. Yep.
Well, I frequent. They spot quite often, and I actually do agree. I had a issue.
You frequent it quite often?
Shut up. I always had a issue smoking. Trying to smoke, and that's because I guess smoking it's just you don't know the milligrams or whatever. So
what?
Yeah. There's a whole lot more behind it.
Well, even that. Let's just say that particular. I'm not gonna go deep into it.
No, we going deep. What the fuck you mean? You smoke
for me? I'm talking about for me. Smoking has always ended badly.
No, you said that you can't tell how much is in it.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Okay.
Because I can't measure measure the intake.
So you're smoking, you can put it out anytime you want to.
Nigga, shut up. So
what the
anyway,
fuck you mean you can't measure it?
So with the edibles, because I know we went to Vegas at one time and I had an edible too, and it was just like I don't remember how this nigga 1,027 milligrams and shit.
Dude, you having a green out on that?
My brand is called Sleepy Joe. Maybe we can do business later.
Right.
But I went in there and was able to gauge dose, and man, I'm telling you, it's the best sleep I fucking ever had in my life. And I've done melatonin, and melatonin makes me have nightmares and shit like that. Like, and I'm a dream controller, so that shit just got me off or whatever. But you know, doing a cannabis and whatever, had to sleep and whatever was fucking great.
Man, they had a baby. They put a lady in jail because her baby, I forget what was wrong with him, but the baby was in pain all the time. And it wasn't a baby. He grew to like a young man, maybe 12 or something. But he was in pain since he was a baby till he's 12. And the mama went through all type of treatment, everything trying to get that young man some relief. And she found cannabinoids. And so she gave it to him. And they put her in jail. I was like, man, they would have been put me in jail. I would have been gave you a gummy like here.
So I want to talk about that real quick. So y'all are familiar with Dr. Sanjay Gupta with CNN?
Gupta, yeah.
So back when they first started, you know, like when Colorado and Washington first legalized it.
Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, they started talking and doing research on this. And so kind of tying this back to the healthcare industry. So you had a couple different families that they were talking with their children on. And the children were suffering from different ailments. And they were trying all these treatments. Nothing was helping. One of the mothers, their child was dealing with seizures. Their child was having, 20, 30 seizures a day. And there was nothing they could find. They were trying all these treatments and so forth, and they went through their HMO plan to try and get some help. They were finding out about cannabis and the use with CBD, and insurance company wouldn't cover it. So the family up and moved to Colorado.
Because they can't what do you call it, regulate it.
Yeah.
That's why.
And so they moved to Colorado. They get connected with, one of the places to start getting some CBD oil and tinctures and stuff. And that child went from having, 20, 30 seizures per day to, maybe 1 or 2 a month.
Nice.
And so where that child was initially in a wheelchair and, kind of incapacitated, now this child was starting to enjoy the daily activities that a child should be able to enjoy, running around, playing and stuff. But there's all kinds of different medical uses. We have people that come into our dispensary who are, they get sent there by their doctor because they're in chemotherapy and there's nothing that they can prescribe to them that's working to help them be able to stomach, food and stuff when they're going through chemo. So then they come to us or another place and they get the CBD tincture, and that helps them to be able to, manage their food intake.
Get the munchies. They ready to eat.
Now they can eat. Now they can keep it down.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits behind it. The biggest thing, and I'm gonna say it like this, because this is something that I see in the JDC and just in life in general. We misuse the plant. We misuse it.
What do you mean? I might argue with you a bit.
Abuse. Abnormally use it.
Abuse of weed?
Right. And when I say that, we're misusing it from a standpoint of, we got people that are waking up and the first thing they got to do is spark a blunt. Okay, well, that's when you start to understand how it works with you.
But what if they're in pain all day?
Wait a minute. No,
that's where I'm going to go.
Forget pain. You just told me that it's for anxiety. And waking up black in America, I could wake up with anxiety.
So
I gotta get a job. I don't know if I'm gonna eat. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna get called 70 niggers between here and the corner store. You know what I mean? This is anxiety that hits my mind before I can even open my eyes.
Now,
yes, I need to smoke.
Yeah, but watch this. What are you smoking? So are you smoking an indica? You smoking a sativa? And furthermore,
I need to be educated.
Why do you need to smoke it?
I don't like sativa.
But, in that sense...
Oh, you mean why do I have to intake it by smoking?
Right.
So you're saying I can do gummies all day?
You can do gummies. You can do the microdosing.
Teach me then, fella.
You can do the microdosing to specifically deal with that piece.
Okay.
You need that social piece?
Yeah.
Take one of these gummies.
I know their problem. I know the problem.
What is it?
They got to wait an hour before that gummy hit.
If not longer.
Not necessarily.
Necessarily.
No. Because there are there's what's called, so your standard gummy, yes, is 30 to 40 minute onset. But then because of the process, that's a post-harvest. Okay, that's post-harvest production.
Okay.
So now you've got also a live resin and a live rosin.
Okay.
A live rosin, for instance, and a live resin are faster acting.
Okay.
Live rosin meaning as the plant is growing, they're extracting it from the plant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
They don't
it's
allow it to
the
mature.
culture of it is still live. It's still right. And then you have a live resin, which is, kind of in between the harvest. You haven't fully harvested it, but you've now started that process and you've extracted the cannabinoids out of it.
Okay.
So those tend to be faster acting.
Okay.
So you get that 15.
So how can I tell? How do I know if I'm coming to your shop? How do I know which ones is faster acting and which one is slower acting?
I'm gonna show you.
Right now.
I'm gonna teach you, and it's gonna say it's gonna literally
you
say
give me one right
it's
now,
literally-
I'll be your
It's
test dummy.
literally gonna say right on the packaging. It's literally gonna say on the packaging live rosin, live resin. If it doesn't have those two things on there, that means it's a post harvest
So the fast acting is
live resin or
Live
live
resin.
rosin.
Okay.
The best to me, what I've learned in this, going through this research, and yes, I said this in the beginning. Yeah, I am a pastor, and a lot of people like to talk to me about that. But as I've done my research, I won't get into the details of it. Got an article coming out in the magazine in this first quarter of the year explaining the connection between it spiritually. This is my joke with it. There's a reason why we don't call priests high priests anymore. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
We finna get into that. You think you gonna get away?
so all of it. Oh, go ahead.
No.
You got some extra.
No. So
Let him get it.
I need to articulate that pastor and I ain't gonna say connoisseur because you haven't on at least this show said that you are a connoisseur, but at least you are a manufacturer. No, you probably don't even manufacture. You just sell it, right?
Sell it.
Okay, you're a distributor. You're a distributor of cannabis, and you're a pastor at the same time. So somewhere there's a link
Yep.
between. And we have to talk about this because for the millions of viewers out there, you gotta put together why
Bring the
it's
link
okay.
together.
Because I remember going to church and
Everything
and,
was bad.
and smoking a blunt after. And my
Everything
mom,
was
she was
bad.
on my heels, boy. She'd take the broom and crack
lipstick
me.
was bad.
Man.
You couldn't chew gum in the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Look, I was an usher. Give me
I was
that.
an usher. I know all of it.
I always got a stack of Kleenexes in my pocket.
Yeah.
Give me your gum. Give me your gum.
So how did you get past that?
All right.
Ideology.
You all want, okay, this is kind of a long story. So how much time do I got here?
How much time we got, Ricky?
No, nigga, we can't. We gotta.
No, we finna ask. People want to know.
They want to, okay,
Inquiring
because I got to
minds wanna
give you
know.
if I tell, in order to explain it to you, I got to give you my testimony. 20 minutes? All right,
He
I'm
gonna get
gonna
five.
give you. I'm gonna try and give you this condensed version. So a year ago, I had brain surgery. I got home from brain surgery on a Friday. My wife says, "Hey, the next day, Saturday, you got time to go look at the spot for the dispensary." Now, what my wife didn't know at the time is, she already knew that I was an associate pastor, but what she didn't know was I was getting ready to have a conversation with her because I was feeling convicted about opening up a dispensary. Okay, so the day after we get home from brain surgery, I'm popped up on my pain meds from the hospital, from the doctor.
Fucking opioids.
Right, the opioids.
Yeah.
And so I tell her I got about a good hour and a half in me. So if we get up there now and get back, I'm cool.
Mm-hmm.
We get there. We walk into the door. Right away, there's scripture. First thing you see when you walk into our doors, there's already an inscription on there, Mark 10:9. Well, what's my first name? Mark. Caught my attention. Okay. We walk through the second set of doors, and I look to the right, and on the corner, there's a saying that says, "Rev's Kids Rules." It's my last name. He done literally called me out by last name. He got my attention.
Got your
Now,
first
he got
name and last name.
right
Okay,
there, right off
okay,
the bat.
okay.
So we start walking through the place. I'm paying attention now. We get into the back, we get into the bathrooms. There's another scripture on the wall, Ephesians 2:10. Y'all can go look it up. Ephesians 2:10. We're predestined, pre-made for us to do good things. And he already called it for us, right? In a nutshell, that's what the scripture says. And as we finish out and we round back out into the main space, there's a 7-foot by 7-foot tapestry that was left over. All of this is the previous tenant that they left behind. And when I walk out, what do I see? I see a 7 by 7 tapestry of the flower of life. So he got my attention.
Already in the spot?
Already in the spot.
Was it a weed spot before?
Nope.
Oh, God. It's
So
predestined.
he got my attention. So I knew right then and there, shut your mouth. Keep moving. I got you. Okay, all right. So I let that go. I'm comfortable. That weight's off my shoulders. I don't
So you didn't have a conversation with your wife?
Nope.
Oh,
We kept it moving.
okay.
We're in the same spot.
Okay.
When you come into the spot, when you walk into our door, that scripture is still there.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing that we covered up is the Rev's Kids Rules part.
Okay.
Everything else is still there.
Yeah.
So over the last 6 months, 7 months now, as I've been doing research, you got to go back into, where we're in a modern society now, right? We get to talking about the Bible translations and all these different translations. Even the Quran has been translated.
Yeah. All of
but
them.
you got to go back to original
Book of the
scriptures,
Dead.
right? So when you start researching, here's where I found out. Here's where I found it. In the original Hebrew translations of the Bible,
That's as far as you went back. Hebrew. You could have
well,
went to the Book of
scripture,
Dead. It's scriptures on them Egyptian walls. There's scripture.
Right. And so, and even there, when you start researching, okay, you start to find out that we were using this plant back then. And it is listed in the original Hebrew transcripts as cannabosum. But when you read today's Bible, it is listed as calamus. Well, when you start to do your research on what calamus is a, in the doses that were used in the Bible, would be toxic to you. And in some cases, calamus is actually a banned substance. Like you cannot use it. It's because it is toxic. It can unalive you. Well, so as I started researching that, I'm like cannabosum, and I start to see in all the other languages what cannabosum translates into as cannabis. I start to scratch my head and be like, what are you showing me? Then I started seeing some other stuff. In scripture, it also talks about gall. When Christ was on the cross and they went to give him some vinegar and gall. Well, what is gall? Gall is a psychedelic. It's a pain reliever. And what is it made from? Myrrh. Y'all know what myrrh is.
What is myrrh?
Myrrh is a resin that comes from a tree, okay? And it's used in
Like
perfume.
frankincense and myrrh.
Frankincense and myrrh.
Yeah.
Now watch. Start doing your research on those two. Frankincense and myrrh, when burnt,
I got some of that in the office.
are also a psychedelic. There's a psychotropic, aspect to it. And so then you start doing more and more research. You start to find out that during archaeological digs and stuff like that, and they're unearthing some of these ancient temples and stuff, what they're finding on the altars is the resin of frankincense, myrrh, and this other substance called cannabosum, or today known as
Cannabis. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there you go. Did I get that in? Did I
Nope,
fit that
shut
in
up.
20?
We gotta get this last part in.
I really like that you express to the viewers
Especially that part.
how the connection from that manual to their life can be.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
It's all in there.
Grounding. It's always
all in there.
it's always a blessing to see even a pastor or someone of that caliber to ground themselves and familiarize with everyday persons, because that's the type of people that you pay more attention to. Rather than I'm holier than thou, you should live like this because I'm crispy and clean.
Make
and
me
shit.
want to go to your church.
Right.
You know what I
Look,
mean?
everybody has issues in life. And when you start to understand what the word is telling you, that's exactly what it's telling you. It's telling you about a whole bunch of flawed men and women who are blessed by God and still used by God to do many big and mimighty things
Wonderful
in his
thing.
name.
Dig it.
I got a question, and you might hate me for asking this question, but I just got to ask it because you're a pastor. So I went to church. I'm a spiritual fellow. You know what I mean? And so a couple of these things that you said, I already learned on a spiritual level, like marijuana and tobacco are a master plant, and that means that it is highly distributed around the whole world. You know what I mean?
It grows naturally on its own in the wild.
And it has its own natural effects from the earth that helps and translate through the body. But regardless of that, I want to know, because I just went to church, and I listened to some good stuff. And just because, I like the energy, the spiritual energy to go in and get some of that in my spirit. Not that I need the manual to be on the spiritual level, but I went anyways for the message. So I'm beyond the manual, but I'm not beyond the message. But I wonder, when you go to church, it seems so transactional. It seems like you're going to motivate me. So as a pastor, you're basically a motivational speaker. And for me to get that motivation, I got to pay you. And I'm one of the people, or at least your congregation, is the people who need that motivation more than anybody, because those are your warriors. Those are the ones, those are the workers. Those are the ones, right? Those ones who's continuously fighting for their life and not accepting what they got going on, right? But and then they use the same old scripture. You got a tithe, you got a tenth, and some things to me don't make sense. God don't need no money, period, right? So why don't the pastors ever tell people you tithe, but you tithe to yourself? Every week you come into this church, I want you to put that 10% in a separate bank account, and then we go talk about this a year from now and see what we can do, because you're got. Oh, I ain't gonna go there. I ain't going there. But either way, why can't a pastor tell them people to tithe to theyself?
You should be. You should be, just as a general principle, and being a good steward of what God's given you is putting up something for yourself and your family. That's period.
They certainly giving it to the pastor.
Period, point blank. Now, the concept of tithing to the church, what that is for and what it is supposed to be for and what it is about, and the reason and concept that it started way back in the Old Testament was there was a time of drought. And during droughts, during your up seasons, right, when you would have your bountiful harvest, you would take 10% of your crop, bring it here. One, to feed the pastors, the high priests that were doing the work, right? And those that were working in the temple. And then after that, everything that was left over then would be dispersed amongst the poor people, the homeless people, right? To take care of them. And so the whole concept is, y'all have heard, is better to give than to receive, right? And the meaning of that is some people are going to be blessed enough to make a lot of money, right? So we're talking, I'm going to come back and tie this back into the CEOs and stuff, and why people have such a hard time with people who make so much money, because they're hoarding it. They're keeping it to themselves. Rather, if I'm blessed and I've been given ability, okay, I'm going to support the church, right? Because they need the support. It brings people together. Where people are gathering, people need that, that soul food, right? That soul nourishment. That's the job of the pastor, is to nourish your soul, not your physical eyes. And to be honest, in some of our churches today, not all of them, but some of our churches, it doesn't matter what religion, what denomination it is, it's very much performative, right? And it's just getting people coming in just to keep them a little bit connected, and it kind of stays on the surface level, right? But the concept of going to temple was to get down into the nitty-gritty, deep things of you, the things that are holding you back. And coming into church, coming into the temple, coming into that space, it should be about that relationship, one with the Creator, two with each other, right? And when you come together,
Can we do that for free though? But we can do that for free.
you can. But the whole concept is us working together. So here's what happens.
But why
Watch
does the
this.
pastor never give me no money?
I'm gonna watch where I'm going with this. So the concept of the church, right? Bringing that tithes and offerings, right? We bring the fats, the access of what we've got to this space. Then in the time of drought, when there's need, when there's famine, now we've built up a storehouse. Now we're able to take care of everybody. Now, Mr. Rich Man, who's brought 100 pounds over the last 2-3 years, he's going through a drought. Now we have the ability to take care of everybody in that time space. That's what the concept is supposed to be for. That's what the concept is about. It isn't supposed to be making someone, Creflo Dollar went through this a few years ago. He was all over the news. I need all XYZ so I can go buy this jet. That's not what this is supposed to be about.
I think I
And
remember that
if
too.
anything, that is generally the whether you want to go back to hunters and gatherers or whatever the case
There
may
you
be,
go.
that is the family structure that it's
It's
supposed
the
to look
structure.
like. So you as a family, you cultivate the land, you put a little bit to, let's say, the government, the chief or whatever. The chief's role and responsibility is to ensure that everybody's on a level playing field where nobody starves,
I
nobody's without.
think you're mistaken
So
because you took that back to hunter and gatherer, and
what I'm saying is before
sometimes it was the whole unit. It wasn't no higher person.
The most simplest process for a community is to take care of one another. Everybody's
Yes.
always going to look for a
One
leader.
another, not
They're
one
always,
person.
They're always going to. It's not taking care of one person.
Right,
you're
but
not listening.
right now in the
You're
day
not
and
listening.
age,
What
giving
I'm
your
saying-
money to the
what I
church is
said-
taking care of one person
I'm
one
not talking about
organization.
nowadays. I'm going back in time. Right now, nowadays is kind of fucked off. They missed the whole concept. I'm talking about
I
how
wasn't
it's
there in the
supposed
past
to
to be
start.
talking about the past.
What it's supposed to look like is what a lot of Indian people, West
Yeah.
Indian people, what a lot
Okay.
of Mexican people. That's the same concept.
What concept is it? Tell
Let's
us.
let's put all back into the pot so
Yeah.
that everybody's taken care of. So generationally, when you get up, you still know how to put money in the pot so that it
Yeah.
all keeps going. So that's the
Yeah.
dynamic that has always been, but it's been bastardized by
There it is.
greed, selfishness, and capitalism.
Yes. Because I was going to say that, it's true that in our community, black churches are not stepping up in some of our issues. They're getting the money, but
Repeat
they're
that
not.
again. Come back to that. What was the first part that you said?
I say black churches are
Say
not
it again.
stepping up.
Say it again.
Black churches.
Okay, but I want you to expand on black churches
Okay,
and say black
you-
community because it's the black community. Shawty, I want you and I know you know this answer.
I listen.
How long?
wait a
how
minute.
long does
How's
it
that
take for the
community?
dollar to leave the Jewish community?
Years?
No, he don't know.
It's long. It's months.
It's a
I think
long
it, I
time.
think,
Yeah, it's
I
a
think
long.
it
It's
gets
one of the
10
longest
times.
times.
How long does it take for the
One and out for us.
It's
Seconds.
less than
It's
it's
seconds.
less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now do you see where the problem lies?
Well, wait.
No, I want you to stop and think about that.
I
It's
got
the
it 'cause-
mindset of the way our community has been programmed all these years and indoctrinated all these years. We can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a problem with it.
Well, we deal with this issue personally, right? Men in Black. Now, one thing for sure that I can say is that man right there gives more than 10% of whatever he gets to his community.
Yes.
And so do I, right?
Right.
But when I went to church, the pastor didn't ask me, am I giving my 10? He wanted me to still give 10% to him. He didn't ask me what 10% that I was already doing. He wanted me to give more to him, and I'm already giving 30% to my community or 50, whatever the case may be, because I love my community and it's my role and what I'm supposed to do. But what I'm saying is I wasn't asked, hey, what are you doing? How can we help? Can we coordinate? Maybe can your organization and our organization do something together? Can we put some money together?
There's the
Can we
key.
do some? Ain't nobody talking that. They just
that's
said,
the
give me
key.
some money.
That's the problem. You
Mark,
just answered the question. We're not talking about that. We're not approaching it from that standpoint.
I'm gonna intervene because this nigga is taking it on a tangent, and we had a schedule, a whole conversation.
So-
Now we're
I'm
talking about
sorry.
No, it's
now
good.
the fuck
I
we
love
talking
this.
about church. when we were talking about health, and the shit's all
Can I
wonky.
tie this all together real quick? Because
Sure.
you know there's something that I want to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this
go ahead,
goes
brother.
to my point of what we're talking about. The
Yes.
core
Oh,
about
okay.
coming
Sure,
together.
Sure.
Okay? The whole concept is you got something, I got something. Okay? So let's think about 2020. What took place in 2020?
Yeah,
It's right
so-
there on the corner of that wall.
Where were you when George Floyd was murdered?
Where I was on May 26th, I was waking up from recovery, having my shoulder repaired. I had tore the tendons in my left shoulder doing roadside assistance earlier in the year, like 2 weeks before Kobe passed. So May 26th is when I had my shoulder surgery. And so when I woke up in the recovery room and I saw what was going on, I was like, dang. Because you got to understand, my journey, when I said I started coaching and mentoring, it started in that neighborhood on 37th in Chicago at the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club
Hey,
is now
Southside,
on
go ahead.
39th in Chicago
we
at
all
the
was
Phelps
there.
Park.
Grew up there.
But we started right there. I knew the owners, the young men that, run that business. Now, it's a family business. It's been in that community for as long as I can remember on that corner. And so I knew them. They were some of the young men that would come into the Boys and Girls Club. We always went in there. So recovery for the type of surgery that I had is 4 months. So while everybody is out protesting and going through a lot of, going through all the motions that we were going through with what we saw, I'm sitting up here at home, my arm is up in a sling, and I can't do nothing. I'm feeling helpless. And then my phone rang. That man right there and Hollis called me, said, "Hey, Mark." At the time, I was managing at a hotel, and we need a safe house. The young lady who filmed this is receiving death threats, and we need to get her family in a safe space. Now, at the time, a bunch of hotels around the community, around the cities, were shutting doors because of COVID and so forth. But my hotel was the busiest hotel in the city. And my first response was, can't do it in my hotel. It's too visible. Too many people are there. I'm still getting calls that we got people to come burn our hotel down because there's rumors that we had white supremacists staying in our hotel, which we didn't. My hotel is full of families in need who are homeless and stuff and don't have any place else to go. And so, I got that call and I'm like, it's not a good idea, but hold on. Let me make a couple phone calls. So I started calling some people, you got something, he got something, and I started putting all that stuff together. We ended up finding a place in St. Paul. Someone donated that duplex for 3 months for her family to put her up. Shawty. Protection, round the clock protection for the
24/7.
family.
Yep.
Then I had another friend who provided all of the furniture.
Yeah.
The furniture. And so we were able to provide that for 3 months. That's the concept of tithes and offerings. When I get something and I have an abundance of something and I have those connections, that's what it's supposed to be about, the village coming together in such a time as this. And it came together at the right designated time. Most of us didn't even know each other.
Right.
We didn't know each other existed. I knew of Holly's. I knew of Shadi because of Holly's, and I met Holly's on the campaign trail with my wife as she was running for a judicial seat. But at such a time as this, he brought us all together for a specific designated reason. That's the concept of what I'm talking about. That's the concept of what really the Bible is talking about. So that 10%, that tithing that you're doing to your community, I applaud you because we need more people that are doing that. If you've been given an abundance, what are you doing with it? Are you hoarding it? Are you keeping it to yourself? Because you can't do nothing. The Bible says, the word says, what profits a man who gains all the wealth in the world but has no love in his heart?
That's profound what you said. I just need to know and I'm just coming from the perspective of that.
I got you.
That person who sees no light in front of them, who has their last $10, but instead of feeding their kids or getting something for their self. They go to the church and they give it thinking that this
It's a
is
lottery
going to get
ticket.
me blessings and more things.
Yeah.
And I just want to say
Your
something to
mind-
these people.
Now your
that,
mindset is wrong.
okay,
Yeah,
tell
they
them,
think
man.
it's a lottery
I
ticket.
just need you
It's
to tell
not a
them. how to-
lottery ticket. It's not supposed to be that way. You shouldn't be. It is better to give than it is to receive. Meaning, when you're given in abundance, you should be sharing. You should be helping out others. Now, that concept, yes, you might have nothing in your pocket. There was an instance in the Old Testament where one of the prophets goes to visit a young woman and her child. Husband has just passed away. She's down to the last few drops of what she has in wheat, flour, and so forth, and oil, right? And she's instructed to prepare this meal for this prophet that's coming. But Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. What are we going to eat? Don't worry about that. Do what I told you to do. Be obedient. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So she was obedient and she prepared that meal for the prophet. Prophet came and then boom, he told her to go do this, this, and this. And when she did that, she was taken care of. So that concept is, if I go to the faith in my faith walk, right? Faith walk. Now, I'm not going based off the precepts of the normal church. I'm not going based off the site, but I'm going based on my faith walk. Yeah, this $10, I know I got to feed my family, but is $10 going to feed my family? No, I'm going to go sow this seed because I know someone else needs this right now. I see someone over here on the street corner that, I got a roof over my head. They don't. Let me help them out. Let me bless them.
Yeah,
And then
those are in those situations.
and
As
then the
far as
next
giving it
day-
to the church, it's probably not your best thought process. I mean, if that's your last
Unless that
$10,
church is gonna have there's a church that we have over in St. Paul that we work with, and there's many of them. There's many of them. You're down to your last $10. You know what? You show up to the church and you go to put it in there. That church might say, "Go ahead and keep that." No, by the way, come downstairs with us
Stop
so you
that.
you can go ahead and
You stop that,
fill-
Mark. You
fill
stop
up
that
your,
right now.
your
I
boxes
ain't never
with
seen
all
a
this
church
food.
that said, "Yeah, keep it."
Come on,
I
I'll
have.
introduce you to
I
it.
have.
Let me introduce
what
you
I'm
to
telling you,
something.
I'm telling you this, right? Because I've done it before. I've given my last 20 thinking that, okay, based off people telling me this is what you're supposed to
Yep,
do, right?
yep.
It wasn't really nothing based off me. I'm hearing people say, you go to church, you give it. I did it, right? And I realized one thing. The only thing that I truly understood by doing that is where my heart really lies.
And that's where it matters.
Yeah, but
Because- now
that's
watch
an
this.
advanced concept. A regular person don't think of that
No, we
concept
don't think
immediately.
About it. We
Yeah.
don't think about it. So now watch this. You went and did that. You did that. You did sow that seed. You did sow that $20. Today's mindset is, and this is what I say, when I'm in the JDC and I'm talking with some young adults, right? Our generation today is the J.G. Wentworth generation. It's mine and I want it now. There's an expectation that I give it and I'm going to get it back immediately right now.
Yep.
Okay? Back then, you planted that seed. You didn't know when it was going to come to fruition. Look around the room right now. It came to fruition.
That's a good argument, but I don't know.
I'm here to challenge your way of
It's
thinking.
good. It's good. It's a good
And
argument. I can't
on
argue
that
right
note-
there. I can't find no
And
argument.
on that note, this was a phenomenal, as usual, phenomenal episode. It's talking about spirituality, talking about the benefits of cannabis, and just altogether just talking about how we build and create and move as black men, as black people, just in general. Changing the dynamic, changing and getting ourselves away from the greed, away from the bullshit. That's what we about, man. So want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. We're going to wrap this up. Remember, GatorMamba.com. We're on YouTube. When you're on YouTube, please subscribe, like, please comment, because we would love to respond back and see what you feel about what's happening. But we out.